The second winning series is a unique sports program that probes into the often controversial world of professional and amateur sports. Sports View Today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sports View. I'm Ron Cameron.
And I'm Bob Page. Our sponsors in the program, as always, Al Dietrich Oldsmobile. Uncle Al out on M59 in Waterford. And for you busy corporate executives like Mr. Cameron, Uncle Al has special lease deals right now. Check them out on beautiful 1988 Oldsmobiles. We've got Harry Keefe, Joe O'Shoney, and all the folks who bring you some of Detroit's hottest night spots, shooters, and some of the others we'll tell you about coming up. We've got Sports Fans Journal with issue number
21. It's available at Tiger Stadium in your local newsstands and bookstores. If you'd like to subscribe, call this number 24 hours a day, 350-3530.
Got a great new restaurant for you if you like seafood, TK's Seafood Grotto. TK stands for Tom Kelly. They're located on 10 Mile and Southfield Roads in Southfield. We have the Sting, one of Detroit's finest night spots, in the old Playboy Club at Grand, beg your pardon.
No, not Grand River.
Greenfield.
No, it's not.
And the Lodge.
No,
yes, well, anyway,
it's
where
James
the old
Cousins.
Bob. Find James Cousins in the
Greenfield and the Lodge. There's no such thing as the Lodge.
Greenfield and James Cousins.
The Lodge is the Expressway.
Whatever, fine. All right.
Confused.
John Rouser, Wesley Thomas and Company. We have passed the Pro-Am Sports Systems and attorney Sam Bernstein. If you need a or Sam Bernstein, as George would say, if you need a personal injury lawyer anywhere you're watching this show in Southeast or Mid-Michigan, give Sam a call. He's even got a toll-free 800 number, and we'll tell you how to get in touch with him. Well, the Atlanta-Boston series is in the books, and God, what drama. Unbelievable game on Sunday. I really think one of the finest playoff games I have ever seen.
I'll tell you something, I think this playoff series all the way has, you've seen some tough games. The matchups have been great as far as I'm concerned. Boston just had too much heart for them. You got to take your heads. I thought Doc Rivers played extremely well for the
whole
Atlanta
series.
club.
In fact, I just think it was a privilege to see two great performers like Dominique Wilkins and Larry Bird in their primes.
That's what it's all about.
Head to head, matching each other shot for shot. And the only negative of the whole thing we were talking about before we started taping the show today was the performance of Musburger and Heinsohn on CBS, which was just.
I don't think Heinsohn was that bad.
It was a cut above disgraceful. I thought
Musburger,
when Larry Bird was struggling in the first half, Musburger at one point said, "Maybe it's father time, and the years have finally caught up with Larry Bird." And then, an hour later in the fourth quarter, when Bird's scoring 20 points and taking the game over,
wiping the egg off his face.
Oh my! I mean,
then on that goaltending situation, Musburger didn't. Number one, it was a good call. Number two, if it was a terrible call,
okay,
it has
but let's do it chronologically, though. Okay, first of all, Musburger said it was a terrible call. When Danny Ainge drove in and Doc Rivers, he was, what a terrible call! Oh,
he's playing this back in Atlanta. Well, the killer of his whole statement was, that took Atlanta would have had possession. How would have Atlanta had possession? Dennis Johnson's right there for the rebound and the putback.
Or Ainge would have got it back himself.
Ainge.
But all right. So anyway, so he says it's a terrible call.
They'll be playing
then he says,
back in Atlanta.
let's see if we can maybe get somebody to blow up the replay, to take a close look at it. Then he comes back and says, well, I'm advised by our technical people that we have the capability to do that. So they blow up the replay and they take a look at it. Now Musburger sees what happened. Heinsohn explains to him that Doc Rivers' hand hit the backboard. You could see the backboard shaking, so it's automatic goaltending. Now Musburger says, oh, then it was a great call by Hugh Evans. A great call. I think, and Hugh Evans will deny this, I think Hugh Evans just got lucky. He actually thought the ball was either on its downward arc or off the backboard.
No, I think he saw exactly what happened.
We can argue this till we're blue in the face. So then Musburger screamed about what a great call it is. Then Musburger goes on and just, frothing at the mouth, complimenting his crew. What a great job getting that shot for us. Look, Brent, you know, you're all employees of CBS. Sure, they did a nice job, but you don't compliment your own network on the air like that.
Yeah,
you let the newspaper critics and
overall,
the fans
though,
compliment.
you know, I thought that this, obviously there wasn't a strategy coming back in, but when Cliff Livingston takes your last shot, something's wrong.
The night before, you mean?
Yes, Cliff Livingston.
Sometimes you have to go to players because everybody's covering Dominique or whatever.
Yeah, but Dominique Forrest is better than Cliff Livingston, uncontested.
I did not think that was a bad shot. And second of all, I was shocked to see the newspaper people miss the salient issue, which was that Robert Parrish got a piece of that ball. Robert Parrish blocked that ball. The newspaper guys seemed to miss out on that.
Robert Parrish, they had to investigate because he played just terrible that game, and the only reason, at the end, he blocked the shot. He made a couple of crucial turnovers. He didn't do anything offensively. He stood around. This man was just killing him.
I thought he had some good moments.
I thought he had some good moments Sunday.
Oh, yes, and one more Musburger now. When Dennis Johnson's at the line in the waning seconds, okay, and he has 2 free throws to put the game out of reach. Yeah. He hits the first free throw, and Musburger says, "That's it! It's over, and now the Celtics will take on the
Heinsohn said they got to make another free throw.
And Heinsohn said, Brent, you know, it's only a 3-point lead now. I mean, they got 5 seconds left to get
a 3-point shot.
He forgot there was a 3-point shot. Let me tell you something. By far, the best commentator working, I knew we both said UB Brown's done a nice job, and he has, but by far the best commentator working on the networks in basketball today is Rick Barry. By far.
I disagree totally.
Rick Barry is outspoken. He's critical.
Oh, I agree.
He's one of the few guys with guts to say when somebody makes a bad play, Barry will criticize
I think UB Brown does that, and UB Brown knows more technical parts of basketball.
Barry was badly miscast as a play-by-play guy.
He's too sarcastic in his thing.
Well, maybe so, but I like him. I will say this, though.
You're right. He's not a play-by-play.
Yeah, all these guys probably are a little bit better than,
Bill Russell.
Course, well, not only that, but
Oscar Robertson.
Our friend George Kell. I hate to criticize
George is good.
And I promise you all week now that I tell you what happened with George Kell last week. I didn't see it, but a bunch of people have told me. I understand it's late in a ball game. Maybe it was one of the games in Milwaukee or something like that. And somebody's at the plate, hits a fly ball to left field, and George says, "Well, there's a fly ball to left field. Here comes Herndon in to make..." Well, that's not Herndon. Well, who's that?
No.
Who's that in left field?
No, you're wrong.
And it turned out to be it was.
No, I'll tell you exactly.
It was Salazar.
I'll tell you exactly.
And he played the whole game.
Yeah. Here's exactly what happened in the game because I saw that. You're so off the wall.
I told you.
Fly ball left field. Here's Herndon. He makes a play, and I think Kaline must have nudged Kelly. "Oh, do we have a new left fielder?" and yes, it is Salazar.
Yeah, who'd been there the whole game.
Yeah, but
I
you didn't say who is it. You're wrong. All
right.
Off
anyway, to get back on the track here, as far as the Pistons and the Celtics goes, there's no question in my mind that the Pistons are going to win this series in 6 games. They will win a game in the Boston Garden. They have far superior talent to the Celtics, with the exception of Larry Bird and maybe McHale, and they have a bench.
And maybe Parrish.
And they have a bench. Oh, I'll take Lambeer, you take Parrish, no problem. And you're picking the Celtics to win again?
I'll take Lambeer over Parrish.
I will too. I
would take Parrish over Lambeer in this situation. I think that he can do more things to help you win. And Lambeer, I think Lambeer has played real well this series, and he's got a nice outside jumper, but he couldn't block your shot. And Parrish can block shots, and Lambeer's a little bit better rebounder. But Parrish, when he gets the ball in the offense, can be as much of a scorer.
The one thing that bothers me about the Pistons is you read the quotes from everybody from Chuck Daly down to Vinnie Johnson, and they're all saying, well, you know, the home court advantage is so important. Yeah, we would rather have played Atlanta. I don't like that attitude. Their attitude should be, we're going to beat whomever we play in the next round. If we're going to call ourselves world champions, we better win a game in the Boston Garden.
You're right.
And nobody said that.
Except that the Pistons could have won the title if they had played Atlanta. They can beat Atlanta. They can't beat Boston.
They will beat Boston. They will win a game in the Boston Garden. No question about that.
Boston's got too much heart. They got Larry Bird, and they know how to, and they're a smarter ball club than Detroit.
All right, well, let's talk about some of these issues with Joe Dumars, the Pistons guard, whom I think was the hero of that recently concluded Chicago series.
I thought.
Great defensive job. He turned it on Michael Jordan. Joe was in our studios late last week, just before the conclusion of the Atlanta-Boston series, so we covered both ends in the interview.
He was hoping Atlanta, too, like everybody was.
Which I think you'll enjoy seeing when we come back with Joe Dumars right after this.
What's the problem, lady? Where's your husband?
I don't need this.
You don't. Let Uncle Al's Army come through for you.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. Coffee?
Uncle Al's highly trained Army attacks general and major repairs on your private vehicle in a personal way. Thanks.
No, thank you.
Uncle Al, crushing the competition and high-cost service with the respect you deserve.
Yeah! L. Dietrich, Oldsmobile, GMC Truck in Waterford.
If you're a sports fan, you should subscribe to this. Sports Fans Journal. For just $15 a year, you can read columns from George Kell, Ernie Harwell, Jim Northrup, Dick Vitale, Don Cherry, Bob Feller, Bill Frieder, George Allen, Eli Zarrett, Larry King, and many more, as well as features and profiles. For more information, call 24 hours a day, 350-3530. Sports Fans Journal is also available at local newsstands and bookstores and is sold at Tiger Stadium's souvenir stands.
It's brand new, and it's soon to be the hottest seafood place in suburban Detroit. It's TK's Seafood Grotto. At TK's, you'll find the finest and most original seafood anywhere. 35 different dishes, each prepared to order with the freshest fare flown in every day. TK's also has great steaks and chops, lunch or dinner, and there's entertainment, too, beginning with TK's special cocktail hour at 5 p.m. So whether it's a special evening out for two or groups up to 100, it's TK's Seafood Grotto, the northern suburb's most beautiful new restaurant.
We can be easily reached from anywhere in the metropolitan Detroit area. Located at 10 Mile in Southfield, please come out and see us soon.
We're back on Sports View with Joe Dumars, as Bob Page says, maybe the hero of the last series. Do you look at yourself as being the, maybe the savior of that series?
Not on this team. I'm just one of the working guys on this squad.
You say you're one of the working guys on this squad, but you work harder probably than anybody on the team. You get the tough assignments. You know that. You know that.
Yeah, that's been my role for 3 years here.
You don't care if you're really recognized at all, do you?
I'm not looking for it. You know, everybody. You know, I'd be lying if I said you don't want to be recognized.
Would you like to be sometime the main man of a team, Joe?
That's really not my goal. Really
I know,
isn't.
but I mean, what if they said, okay, Isaiah's traded? You know, people have talked about that if this team wouldn't have gotten by Chicago, that there was a chance of Isaiah being traded, and there was a little bit of a shakeup in mind for this ball club. Mainly because of you. Because they feel that you could take over the #1 guard position here and make this team a winner. It's a winner now, but I mean, even taking further. Your feelings on that. If Isaiah did get traded or it happened, how would you feel being in that same role?
Well, first of all, I don't think it ever happened, but if it did happen, I feel confident that I can run a team.
Could you be a pure point guard?
Yeah, I really do feel like I could be a pure point guard.
Well, he's the same kind of guard Isaiah is, a 1.5 guard. Either a pure
more or
point
less,
guard. I guess they both are outside shooters. And yet, you talk about Joe Dumars in this vein, and you must realize here's a guy who has been talked about regarding trade rumors almost every year since he has been in Detroit. Has that bothered you? Or you pick up the papers and see they're talking about trading you to Indiana here in a Herb Williams package or someplace else?
First year it did. When you're a rookie and you're just getting somewhere, it's a shock to you. You know, you used to being somewhere and playing in that place. After a while, you realize it's a business. And I look around, and some of the greatest players of all time have been traded. So it's something that I don't worry about now.
Well, you know, John Sally was quoted earlier this year saying he was upset over trade rumors because he did not want to leave Detroit. So you haven't gotten to that stage where you're upset over these things.
I think I'm past that stage.
Oh, you were.
What if somebody came to you and said another team was interested and talked to you before the trade and said, okay, if you come over here, you're going to run our show. You're going to run our show here.
Well, that'd be tampering, first of all.
No, but I'm saying, or some team convinced you that if you did get them a trade, or they're working out a trade, and yes, it happens, that they tell you that you're going to run it. Would then you'd be willing to leave? That would be the case?
Maybe at some point, but you know, it'd be foolish to talk about leaving here and now. I mean, it's such a good situation here now. We're so close to obtaining a championship. It's kind of hard to say that right now, but I do feel confident that I can run a team.
And you feel confident also that you will win the NBA championship.
Yeah, I feel good.
Would you tell Ron that? Would you also tell Ron that you will win a game in the Boston Garden if you play the Celtics? Tell Ron that.
I think if we ever had a chance, this is the year to do it. As far as
this is the year to do it if you have a chance.
Yeah, if we ever had a chance.
You had your chance. You should have done it last year.
We should have.
You should have beaten them, that ball club last year.
We should have beaten them last year.
And yet this year, now comes down to the point you're either going to play Atlanta or Boston. The difference between the two teams. I think if you play Atlanta, you'll beat them. I think if you play Boston, you won't beat them. But you've got to be more confident going against Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's a general assessment of media and a lot of people of what you just said. If we play Atlanta, we'll beat them. If we play Boston, we won't. I can understand that. From your point, sitting and looking at it, I can see why you would say that. Me being on the floor, I really, I can't say that. So.
Well, here you are on the floor in the Chicago series. We'll take a look at some of your offensive moments, and then I want to take a look at some of the defensive plays that you turned in against Michael Jordan, and let you tell the folks exactly how you approach this series mentally to go up against a guy who some people, including Jack McCloskey, say, Jack McCloskey actually said this, is the greatest player who has ever lived. He actually called Jordan that, and was coming off a 45-point per game average in the preceding series. How'd you approach it, Joey?
Well, first of all, I agree with Jack. I think he's the best player
who's ever lived.
Yeah, because the guy is unbelievable, the things that he can do.
Right, now here you are working against him in the bottom corner, and this is the example of the team defense we talked about. Billy Lambier there coming over to help out. If that went too fast, let's take another look at it right here. You're physical with Jordan there, hand up in his face, 3 guys collapse, now Lambier comes over. That's the way you played him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the thing about it is, if he gets by me right here, there's somebody else right there right now.
Now watch what you're doing to Jordan underneath. Watch where you're pushing him and shoving him. And finally, that resulted in Michael giving you, in the final game of the series, the 5th game, what I thought was a cheap shot, and I was one of the few people who saw it, a shoulder to the face and chest area.
Yeah, I think he got a little frustrated. I just kind of laughed it off. I take the 4-1 win and him frustration, and I'll take that any day.
Well, now what I want to know is the fact that Jordan was just named the Defensive Player of the Year.
And Joe Dumars didn't get a vote.
Joe Dumars didn't get a vote.
On the all-defensive team.
I can understand some of that, but I really can't understand totally because I don't think he's the best defensive player in the league.
I agree with that.
I think that he can play good defense. He's quick, but that's not his job to play defense. Do you feel you're a better defensive guard than Michael Jordan?
We play different type of defense.
I know, but do you think overall, for a team concept, are you better than Michael Jordan defensively? No, now he's got the size. No doubt about that.
It's tough to say that.
I think you think you are. I think you think you are.
Well, I know I have tougher assignments than he does. He doesn't have the assignments that I have. And
would he be capable? Had he have the assignments that you have?
He's definitely capable.
Not in scoring 38 a night, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying you have to take that away from him. That's why it's hard to say what you're saying right there.
Well, Joey, let me ask you this. Were you surprised? I agree with Ron on this subject. Were you, one of the few, were you surprised when Michael Jordan was voted Defensive Player of the Year in the league? Because to me, he's a very good defensive player. But come on, Defensive Player of the Year?
Well, I wasn't really surprised because I heard a lot of people making a push for him. And you start hearing people talk a lot about, oh, this guy's the best defensive player. He has block shots and steals. He's allowed to roam a lot on defense.
Yes.
He's not asked to stay up on his man and defend his man. He's allowed to get in the lane, maybe get away with some zone, and help out a lot. And that helps a lot.
In my mind, the best defensive guard in the NBA today is Cooper in LA. Right or wrong? Only because of his arms, his quickness on defense. He anticipates well. Yeah. He feels the passing line. I think he can do it all.
I'd have to mention Alvin Robertson with him though, because
but I think Robertson gambles too much.
You hear that a lot, but believe me, he's a good defensive player also.
So would you take Robertson over Cooper?
I wouldn't take him over Cooper.
If say you're running a team and there's 2 guys against you, who would you rather go against? Would you rather go against Robertson or Cooper?
Choose your poison, huh?
I'd rather go against Robertson.
So in other words, Cooper would probably be the best.
Joey,
Cooper has an edge.
Thank you.
Do you think, owing to your performance against Jordan, which a lot of people took note of around the country, held him at 27 points a game, that next year people will talk about, hey, this kid in Detroit's really underrated. This kid in Detroit's a really good defensive player.
The farther they go in the playoffs.
I'm saying, once people start making a push for something, a lot of times it happens whether you deserve it or not. If I make it next year, and I may not deserve to make it next year, it may be from this series here.
Right.
And Jordan didn't make all defensive last year, and everybody said he should have.
Yeah.
Start making a push for him, and this year he was unanimous.
We got to get to a break, but I don't think you really had a chance to answer my question earlier about the way you approached the Michael Jordan assignment, and were you surprised that you had the team defensive success against him you did? Go ahead. And then we'll get to the break.
The approach was, I just come out of a real tough series with Washington, and I knew it would be really tough this series here. It's a lot of mental concentration playing against Michael Jordan. Like I said, I think he's the best ever that I've ever seen.
So it's mental concentration then?
Yeah, mentally it's draining as well as physical.
More than you've ever done, the concentration for this series?
More than I've ever done.
Yeah. And then were you surprised at the success?
Well, I knew if we got a lot of help, we could be successful. It all hinged on how much help I got, and the help was unbelievable in this series. Everybody stepped up.
Joe Dumars is here of the Pistons, awaiting the identity, as we tape this show at least, of the team they'll take on in the NBA's Eastern Conference Championship. We'll talk more with him about that and have more with Joe right after this.
Why is Zims totally unique in Michigan? Because we have so much to offer, beginning with bowling. Great summer prices, only 25 cents per game during the day. Softball is back with 14 tournaments this summer. We have over 60 video games. The dining is terrific in Zim's restaurant. Zim's has 3 bars, pool tables, and 12 large satellite TVs with sports all the time. If all this isn't enough, top off your evening at Club Zim's, where the fun begins at 9 o'clock and goes till 2 a.m. We have drink specials with a DJ and dancing 7 nights a week.
Be extra careful before making that turn. Really look for all oncoming traffic. Remember, just a little extra care can avoid a serious accident. If you have been injured in a motorcycle accident, you should talk to me, Sam Bernstein. I can evaluate your case by phone and help you determine if you are due money damages. For your free phone consultation, call me now.
Dial 644-5410 or 1-800-333-3SAM.
That was me, John Rouser, not too many years ago, as a defensive back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, after my playing career at the University of Michigan had ended. Now I'm proud to be co-owner of The Sting, Detroit's most dynamic nightclub. We've got continuous live DJs, continuous videos, and live entertainment every weekend. But you don't have to disco. The Sting is also a great after-work place to meet other professional people who frequent our lounge. So stop in and see us at The Sting. We're in the old Playboy Club, the lodge at Greenfield, with plenty of lighted, secured parking.
Harry Keefe and Joe O'Shoney bring you the #1 names in live entertainment. Bootleggers Live, Lansing, Bootleggers Uptown, Ferndale, Bootleggers Again, Dearborn, the Body Rock Cafe, Detroit, and soon the all-new Palladium downriver. On the west side, well, it's happening 7 nights a week at Shooters in Westland. Shooters has it all. Drink specials, great DJs, and every night, Shooters high-caliber live entertainment under one of the finest light shows in Metro Detroit. If you don't want to dance, there's always sports on incredible 10-foot widescreen TVs at Shooters on Ford Road, 1/2 mile east of Wayne Road in Westland.
We're back on Sports View with Joe Dumars and the Pistons. Let's talk about the difference in playing the Celtics and the Hawks.
Talking about playing smarter team when you talk about playing the Celtics. They make great basketball plays. You're talking about playing a more athletic team when you're talking about playing against the Atlanta Hawks. They pose different problems, but both of them pose problems.
Do you feel that Boston would cause more of a problem, like I do, than because of their inside play?
They've caused us more problems in the past, so you would have to go with that.
And the experience factor, too.
And the experience factor. You can't overlook those two things. But Atlanta is playing as well as I've seen them play right now.
They are playing well.
And when they are playing like that, and the guys that they have playing are confident as they are right now, they can pose major problems.
Let's talk about the different matchups in the Pistons.
I want to mention a comment, too, before we get off this track right here that Chuck Nevitt made to me, which I thought was very interesting after the game the other night. When I asked him who he'd rather play, he said, well, on one hand, we'd rather play Atlanta because we know we can beat them, but on the other hand, we'd rather play Boston because if we beat Atlanta, people will always say, well, you only are in the championship series because Boston didn't get there. Is that the way you feel?
People will say that, but at this point, when you're talking about getting to the finals, I'll get there anyway possible.
You wouldn't rather play Boston or Atlanta either?
Not at this point. I mean, at this point, you just want to get there. And we've gotten a chance for the second year in a row to get to the finals.
Some people saying Randy Whitman, it seems, has got his game together a little bit more for Atlanta. And Kevin Willis, too.
Oh, God, yes. Kevin
Willis has been really played well after having just a terrible season. And that's made a big difference in the team. But let's talk about the match right now, who you would go against now in Atlanta as opposed to Boston in the backcourt. You're talking about a guy in Boston, in my opinion, very experienced and playing a little bit better now, but a guy that's lost a step in Dennis Johnson. No question about that, in my mind, anyway.
I agree with that.
You're talking about the two different guys that I would have to play against? Well, in Boston, Dennis is one of the 2 or 3 smartest point guards in the league. And a lot of guys were asking me, reporters were asking me last night, well, don't you feel a relief whoever you play against this next series? Well, I'm going from 2 of the best 2 guards in the East to probably the smartest guy in the East.
Play a different style of ball. You want to run with them. You want to run with the Celtics.
But he's a smart guy, and he makes right plays at the right time. If I go against Randy Whitman, it's almost like going against another Jeff Malone, whereas they're setting 2, 3, 4 picks for this guy
to shoot the outside jumper.
Once he gets into a rhythm, he can be just as dangerous. So It's not a let-up for me at all. I mean, it'd be a tough job either way.
And I'll tell you, the toughest job you're going to have is when you defeat the Celtics, as I say you will, when you play the Lakers, because you've got two guys out there, in Irvin Johnson and Byron Scott's just an unbelievable
Byron's
player.
having a nice year.
That's going to be another Michael Jordan type assignment, isn't it?
Yeah, even if, like I said, we get all the way to the finals, my job would never ease up because I'm going to always have the toughest guy in the backcourt. And
going off that for a second on the defensive player of the year and things like that, you know, Joe, if you had 3 or 4 more inches in the league, you could win that award.
Defensive player of the year? Yeah, I think I'd have a better shot.
You're a little small, and that's hurt you a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Joe, you're from, they're signaling out there frantically, but I just want you to tell the people who may not be familiar with your background a little bit about you. You're from Louisiana, aren't you? You went to McNeese State. Why, of all places, McNeese State? Didn't they think you were a player coming out of high school?
Yeah, and I had offers from bigger schools, but that was the one school that said, Joe, you're going to come here and play right away for 4 years. It's going to be your show. So I went with that.
And then you're drafted by Detroit, and you hear the Murder City, USA rap, and what were you thinking?
I'd never been to Michigan in my life. I'd never been anywhere close up here, so Houston had the next pick, and then Boston had the pick after that.
That's Murder City, too. Houston,
but I would have rather gone to Houston at the time because I live an hour and a half from Houston, so I was a little disappointed, but things work in strange ways. It worked out.
And you're happy now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be here.
What's he going to say? No, I'm
pissed
off or what?
You can't say that
I just
on
did.
television.
Sure, you can say that. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Piston fans are happy that you're here, too.
Yeah.
We'll close it out with Joe Dumars right after this final time.
If cared for properly, your teeth can last your lifetime. Hello, I'm Dr. Mitchell Klein, here to tell you that in adults, gum disease is the major cause of tooth loss. There are warning signs. Do your gums bleed? Are they red or swollen? Are your teeth loose? Do you have bad breath? If you have any of these symptoms, call me today at 851-2980. That's 851-2980. There's no charge for consultation. Tooth loss can be prevented, so call today.
Nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. There's something you're never gonna forget, baby. You know, you just ain't seen nothing yet. You need education. Gotta go to school.
If you're a sports fan, you should be reading this magazine, Sports Fans Journal. For just $15, you can subscribe, and here's how. Our columnists include Ernie Harwell, George Kell, Denny McClain, Don Cherry, Dick Vitale, Jim Northrup, Bob Feller, George Allen, Bill Gadsby, and a whole lot more. Sports Fans Journal is also available in local newsstands and bookstores. For more information, call 24 hours a day, 350-3530. Sports Fans Journal, a must for all sports fans.
Thermo Window, the Midwest's exclusive manufacturer of the new Polytex 4 vinyl replacement window, is celebrating their anniversary with an unbelievable 5-day offer. This week only, buy 5 windows for $995. Our thermo-insulated tilt-in windows are specially designed to make cleaning a snap. Call now and receive a coupon for a free energy-saving storm door. At Thermo Window, we manufacture, install, service, and guarantee what we sell. Buy factory direct. 5 windows, only $995. Call today and save.
And I hope you enjoyed those interview segments we taped late last week with Joe Dumars, guard of the soon-to-be world champion Detroit Pistons. Now, quick question right here for you. Edmonton, Boston, as we tape this on Monday, the Oilers have that 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
Bruins going to win a game?
I think they'll win 4 and then they'll lose 5. Just like I said all along, Edmonton will win 5.
And again, it's very impressive when you look at how the Red Wings played against Edmonton and what the Oilers are doing to the Boston Bruins here in the Stanley Cup Finals. We want to thank our sponsors in the program today, attorney Sam Bernstein. If you need a personal injury lawyer, just call Sam anywhere in southeastern mid-Michigan. We had PASS, the Pro-Am Sports Systems, The Sting, John Rouser, Esley Thomas and Company, and the Old Playboy Club, TK's Seafood Grotto, 10 Mile in Southfield, Sports Fans Journal, issue number 21 out right now.
Strong,
Shooters,
and
of course, our prime sponsor on Sports View today, Al Dietrich Oldsmobile. Look for Red Wings assistant coach Dave Lewis up on a later edition of the program
the next
this week.
show.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye, everybody.